Hello. So the last few days I've been trying to set up kind of confrontations around me because I'm not too bothered, by their nonsense. They're not kind of getting me off my, not getting me to a certain level that it is that they want to get me to. Not getting me to react in an appropriate way, so they're trying to cause confrontations with people. And it's interesting, it kind of says a lot about the people who take part in this, who participate, the kind of higher ups who run this whole thing. It says a lot about them as people, and not only the gender, but the age, the specific age of the people that they're putting around me, to try and get me to confront. Not only is this really apparent in the place that I live in, that they're all in their 20s, so if I'm seen, I've only ever had one kind of, I wouldn't even call it a confrontation with them, but one of them, she doesn't even live there, she's just a girlfriend. I say girlfriends, I use that term very lightly, I really do. Not that I can speak, probably look very butch, not very ladylike. I don't really care. I'm not here for it's not the dating game for me. I'm not here to pull someone. But yeah, the girlfriends of one of them. I just kind of said about the music, and it was funny, because that's the reason. That's the absolute reason why they put this. The people around me, the people in that house, why they're of that kind of age range, so then they can go back and accuse me of, I'm an older woman and I'm picking on people half my age, and these are just kids, they're just young, they're just trying to have a good time with their music, and so all anything I can complain about can kind of come back, can be put back on me, so that I'm ultimately seen as the problem, because that's what they want, that's the plan. So yeah, lately, the people that have been put in front of me, to do things, to be nuisances, are all young. Yeah, when I said the confrontation with the silly little cunt in the house, it was just about the music, but she made sure her back was to the camera. There's cameras all over the place in the house, that's on purpose as well. Not only do they check what I'm kind of wearing to let their little network know before I go out the door, but yeah, they always, the little network within the house, anytime, when I used to speak, when I first moved in and I would talk to a couple of them, I soon stopped doing that when they were using their directed conversation. I soon get wise to that and thought, oh, here we fucking go again, It was still, I knew about gang stalking at that point, but I was still in kind of thinking, and not everyone's involved, they surely wouldn't have set up everyone in this house, but I was very wrong, Within a couple of days of me being there, the police were round and spent 2 hours in the room with one of them, and then several days after that I heard that person whose room the police had been in for a couple of hours saying to another one, all you need is a set of headphones and ID. And then again, a couple of days later, I heard that one who had been told that they need ID and headphones say to his mate, yeah, this person, the name of the person for the other room is going to take me down and get me to sign in today. And I thought, yeah, there we go. I soon stopped fucking talking to any of them. But when I did, when I had the confrontation with this one and when I'd speak to other ones, they would always position themselves so that I was in front of the camera, facing the camera, so that anything I said could be heard, or my lips could be read, or my facial expressions read, and their backs were always to the camera, and they do that continuously. They're very fucking good at doing that. I wouldn't say wise, because obviously they've been trained and schooled in what to do, so it's not wisdom on their part, it's just they're very good at taking direction, because they're ultimately fucking brain dead zombie robot cunts, So when I had the confrontation with this fucking thing, and I said, she made sure she positioned herself so the camera was at the back of her and she was facing me and I was facing towards the camera, and I was just saying, your music's fucking ridiculous, and she was saying, you slammed the door God knows what time this morning, and I'm going, you don't even fucking live here. What's it got to do with you if I slam my door at fuck knows what time in the morning? And she keeps doing this, she keeps going, so I said, I can't, she done it a few times, and I went, why do you fucking keep doing that? And repeated it back to her, and she just smirked at me, it was only afterwards I realised that when I was young I used to watch Harry Enfield in Chums. I don't know if any of you remember that. And I'd go to school and with me and my little mates, we're just in primary school, just kids like 9, 10 or something. And we would reenact the skits. I don't even know if we were allowed to stay up and watch it or if we kind of sneaked to watch it, I can't think. It's been a long time since I've watched any Harry Enfield to know whether it was kind of appropriate for 9, 10-year-old children. I'm not sure. But we would reenact the skits as kids at school the next day, and one of the Harry Enfield characters, he goes, so I kind of think that's what she was trying to do, that's what this little clone bot was trying to do. That's what it was directed to do. It's always something, it's always to get you thinking about something. I don't know, but I suppose some people just pay no mind to what it is that they're doing, but yeah, anyway, so I had one. So that's the reason for them all being kind of young in the house. So that I'll be seen as the problem if I do anything. So that's the only time that I kind of confronted one of them, and I just kind of walked away in the end. She wanted me to make a bigger deal out of it. You could see by the way she kept doing her fucking stupid face at me and try to kind of antagonise me, And it's weird because our silly little boyfriend just walked past and didn't say a thing. didn't fucking get involved at all because, he's just a fucking, see that's my thumb. Yeah. Controlled, very much controlled. I can see it, I can see the abusiveness in the kind of relationship. It's like, it reminds me of my daughter's relationship, and the control element, and the person that doesn't realise that they're being controlled by a very abusive character, who is also being controlled but is very narcissistic, I can see that in this situation, but anyway, I don't give a fuck, I don't care. I hope she does fucking control them and abuse them. It's, some people get what's coming to them and they choose to participate in certain things, and that's up to them. People make a choice, don't they, about what their actions are. It comes back to you eventually, but such is life. Anyway, so today I was walking and I see in the distance this girl gets off the bus, and I've seen her before in my Target, and she gets off the bus and she's done a similar thing to me before but in a supermarket, and she's walking towards me, and I'm walking along the path, it's quite a wide path, but she's holding her phone like this. You see my ugly Crocs. My t-shirt says gang stalkers, degenerates who spend their pathetic lives bullying. So she's walking towards me with her phone, with the camera pointed right at me, and then she moves onto the side of the path that I'm on. It's like I say, it's a really wide path. It's a cycling plus walking path, so it's really wide. And she purposely moves onto my side, and she's walking right towards me, and she's walking towards me smirking, going, kind of youngish. And I'm thinking, I'm not fucking moving. I don't move out you cunt's way. I'm not fucking moving. And like I say, she's done it to me before. I recognise her. She's quite distinctive looking. And I think I'm not moving. So I carry on walking towards her. And at the last minute, she fucking veers off to the side, into the bushes, onto the grass, instead of veering into the path, The plan is, she's filming me this whole time, clearly, or trying to make me believe that she's filming me. But she wants a confrontation, that's what she wants, or wants to make me move, so they've got it on film. Look, she moves out the way, or she'll look behind her. This is how she acts in this situation. So they've got a clearer idea, So next time someone does it to me, like I say, it's a shared path with cyclists, so if I look behind me, they'll have something set up in the future, They're doing all this, it's learning, they're constantly learning by filming you at all times and seeing how your reactions are going to be. And like I say, recently they kind of want confrontations because I'm not bothering with any of their shit, and because I'm speaking and they don't like that. So I say to her, just as she gets to me, just before, and I think she's going to walk into me. So I look at her and I go, I'll just fucking walk into you, you silly bitch. That's all I say to her. I went, I said, I will walk straight into you, you silly bitch. And she moves out the way. She does a little smirk, first of all, and then moves out the way, So I'm walking further down. And this guy appears out the side, again, they always appear from around a bush, right in your face, again, to try and get you in that kind of fear state. And he goes, who do you think you are speaking to my 15-year-old daughter? Need to rub it in again that you're older and you're talking to children that way, that there's something wrong with you. So I'm like, hold on a minute, you know, your daughter done this and this, and he's all about denying it, you know. She's obviously went, and she's standing there crying because someone said, I will walk into you, you silly bitch. All the while she's been either filming or pretending to film me on her phone and smirking at me the whole time. And like I say, she's done it to me before in a supermarket. And I say this to him, you know, your daughter fucking done this to me another time in a supermarket. She's walking right towards me, you know. And I said, and he's like, don't dare speak to my kid like that again. And I said, I'll speak to her however I want. You're not going to tell me what to do. And then he says, have you got any mental health issues? And he's reading my t-shirt, you know, and you think, you know where this is going. They want to kind of get you down a way, don't they? The next step will be, they're going to carry on doing this, and the next step will be that they'll phone the police and say that I said this to children, you know. And the hope is, from their point of view, that I'll be wearing one of these t-shirts, and the police who are, you know, orchestrating this at street level, aren't they really? You know, if they're not orchestrating it, then they're definitely turning a blind eye to their criminal friends who do orchestrate it. They definitely participate anyway. They play their part, you know, we all know. The hope is that I'll be wearing one of these t-shirts and they can say anything, because he read it and he says, oh, that says it all. And I go, yeah, it fucking does say it all, it does say it all, you know. You're a couple of degenerates, and the whole time she's fucking waffling away, fucking crying, pretending this is the worst thing that's happened in her life, that someone's fucking avoided her walking into them and called her a fucking silly bitch for playing her fucking silly bitch games. You know, you're going to have a very tough life if that's the worst thing that's happened to you. You know, you really are. I don't know how you're going to cope with day-to-day life if someone calling you a silly bitch causes you to burst into tears and run and get your daddy, and your daddy gets to accuse people. Your daddy, who's also a gang-stalking piece of shit. If it is your dad, it's probably not. It's probably just a member of your team. Yeah, anyway. That's what I try to do lately, is cause some kind of confrontation with people around me. You know, get people angsty. So the next step is that they can get the police, and then the police, you know, because they're ever so helpful, aren't they? And they will read whatever t-shirt it is that I'm wearing. You're damn sure. I mean, I'm not psychic. I don't think. Maybe I am, I don't know. But I can predict this coming. So stay tuned, you know. So if I'm not in a nut house and they take my phone off me, because, you know, the helpful police will always make sure that they phone their friends, the paramedics, and the police, and the council, and the social services, and all of the agencies. They all best be sure that they all share your information, and they all work together. They all collude to carry out whatever action it is that they have pre-planned for you or me probably. It's just starting to piss down, so anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Hope you enjoyed my t-shirt for today. Is it this one? No, one of them I've got. I'll need to show it. I'll need to make a little video of it. I've got a t-shirt and it says the word because on it, and they've changed the E and because to a 6. It's really interesting, you know, the 6. But anyway, I hope she's recovered from her tears now. I really do. It must be absolutely devastating for that to happen to a 15-year-old daughter. So I'm some fucking nutcase that goes around abusing 15-year-olds. Again, it's the narrative that they want to spin, you know. These people, they don't like it. They're not getting their own way, so they love to spin a certain narrative about things. They'll get their little cunt 15-year-olds to participate in doing stuff, but if you dare speak back to them or stand up for yourself, they don't fucking like it. And that's why they use young people, because they know they wouldn't have a chance if they used someone that was on the same level as me. What are they going to do then? Get all fucking butthurt that I spoke back to them and stood up for myself? No, they don't like it. They don't like it, and that's why they do it, you know. That's why they use this particular kind of young people and particular gender of people, so that they look like the victim and I look like the antagonist in every situation, you know. I'm not a fighter. I'm not an aggressive person. I just have boundaries, and I'm willing to set them and stand up for myself and not be fucking walked over by these pieces of fucking dirt in my environment. Anyway, I hope you all do too. I hope you all fucking stand up for yourselves. Anyway, take care. God bless. Lots of love.